So Christmas is finally over, and I thought it's maybe a good idea to create a track from scratch inside of Bitwig Studio just with some stock devices. And we want to go here to 172 ppm, so it's a drum and bass track. We go for the E-kick here, because we don't want to use the grid in this video. So create just some kick drums. So the tuning is here G0, it's 49 Hertz, bit of decay, low pass here for the click, decay, and the pitch mod here is at, let's go to 90. Yeah, let's go to 19. That's okay. Inside of this we use Filter Plus here, and with Filter Plus we get you a lot of distortion to create some nice overtones, something like this. In front of the distortion device I use a convolution reverb, but instead of this, you know, long ass delay here, I'm just using some short ones, maybe metal or wood, something like this, to get some tonality into the sound, right? Some bit of flavor. This is the tri kick drum. And then I can use the SPF here with the notch, kind of a filter, and filter out some, or notch out some frequencies. That sounds cool. And then we can mix this with the dry signal, of course, here, 50%. Bring down the wet signal. So we just want to have a bit of tonality in the sound. It's not like to color the kick drum all the way, it's just to mix it in. Something like this. After that we go for FX2. We cut out here all the mid parts. On top we use a distortion. And then at the end we use a hard clip. It's just a preset of mine here, it's completely free. That's a bit too long here. Sounds also nice. Okay, that's okay. So we have a loud, nice kick drum. What we need now is maybe some hi-hats. So we can go here for the E-hat. I usually dial down here all the mix knobs, just, you know, get some noise. Then bring down here just a basic pattern. Right, something like this. We use the velocity sensitivity all the way up here. Now we dial in here some sensitivity stuff. Maybe this all the way down, these two. It's just a bit down, and this is here accentuate basically the offbeat. And that's too quiet, of course. We use a hard clip here to blow everything up. And then here, these ones with the longer velocity, or with more velocity, we modulate the decay time here. So everything that has more velocity gets a longer decay. And it's of course too loud, I think. Yeah. Okay, that's it. So some basic hi-hats. We use some hi-hat samples later on, probably with XO, to sprinkle in some more interesting, you know, bits. And we go here for E snare. And we use maybe here just a simple two-step beat. Something like this. And in here we want to use also filter plus. And you can maybe just reutilize here this one in here. Okay, then we want to use probably here an EQ5 maybe, and another hard clip. Okay, let's tune the snare a bit here. This is okay. Tune this down here, 3 decibel. Okay, so now on top of that we want to layer here some hi-hats with XO, like I said. And this is just a preset here for XO I made with a lot of hi-hats in there, so I can just go to the sample combiner, swap all the samples, something different, then hit OK and have some, you know, some random new hi-hat sounds in here. So let's create some patterns here. Okay, hard clip after that. And now I would say the kick drum here is way too prominent, so that's okay for me now. We group this together here. Drum bass. EQ on there. Just accentuate here some important frequencies for the kick drum. Something like this. Then we use a transient control. So this is basically a compressor that brings out everything that's between the main drums. And then we use here FX3 and we multi-band clip. copy this here in the mid box. And I tune everything here until it sounds good to me. It's probably the most difficult part for you. And then I want to use here a clipper at the end. Okay. These are the drums. So now we go here to a bass. Or we start with the bass. I'm using phase 4. Course, lay down here some kind of notes. I'll probably go for E, because E can play easily E Phrygian, maybe one octave lower. Pull this down to sine. We only have here one operator. Then we use here this one and pull this all the way up, so we create noise in here. We switch this to stereo, we make stereo noise. Then we dial in this to operator B here. Operator B goes maybe here to 1, 1 and 3 here. And all we need to do now is to use an LFO. It's classic here. I let this here on Hertz. I don't use time-based settings, no tree trigger. Then I modulate this here. Bipolar is off. That is okay. Then I use here the filter drive. Let's duplicate this. Okay, so this is the first idea for the first bass here. So this is on 0 dB. Not too much distortion. Just a tad. And then here we use FX2. So we split the bands, top and low end. Here we use an EQ. Basically create your notch filter. On top of that, you use a blur device. At the end, we just use a peak limiter. Dial this down 3 dB. And then maybe can introduce here another filter plus. Use a notch. Let's try out a hard clip here also on the bass. Not sure if it sounds good. That's okay. And yeah, the bass phase 4 needs to be here on mono voices, and I'm using here sustain all the way up. We can dial in a bit of release here. I think that sounds good if the bass, you know, not just instantly go out with the volume. So here a bit of release, and then if you trigger the bass here, as you can see like this here, the first one gets choked, so the release is basically cut off if you play another note instantly after this one, if this is a monophonic mode. Yeah, that's why I use this always in mono mode. Let's go here for or let's actually use a second bass and do this here. And delete these two, because now I can just switch here some settings on the second synth. Let's loop this here for a moment. And in here we want to bend down to E, right? Here we maybe can introduce a bit of more automation. And this goes in. Right, something like this. So we have a bit of modulation there. Okay, that's a nice first riff. Maybe wrong position. So I try to match basically the energy of these two basses here, so they have kind of the same overtone frequencies and so on. So I think this is okay for the first draft. So we have some bass, we have some drums. Let's put the tool device on that here, on the bass bus, right? And use here note sidechain, and use of course the kick drum here as an trigger. And then we trigger basically a volume modulation. Maybe go here for a different kick drum pattern, something like this. Maybe double the content here and use also the second one here. So here I'm trying basically to match the pitch bend, you know, the pitch modulation and amplitude modulation. I try to match it a bit with the bass sound, so it's, you know, doesn't stick out too much, or, you know, it fits to the bass. But I'm going completely here for my experience and my hearing, what I like to hear, right? So for everyone this is probably different. I don't like the snare here. Let's Let's make this shorter. Usually with drum bass, the kick drum and the snare drum are pretty short, very, very short, and mixed also very easy then to mix down, or to get a loud mix down when you have short, you know, short drum sounds. So maybe add here some kind of chord or some kind of background drone, something like this here. Let's go for some saws. So we have E here. And pass. Don't even need a reverb for that. So this one here is basically just one semitone higher. That's basically the feature of the E Phrygia mode, that you have basically after the root note exactly one note semitone higher. That's in the scale. But it makes it highly dissonant, but maybe you go for this old school 98 sound, you know, where you have these optical and add rush pads in there. Something like this. You can also use here this one. It makes it even more dissonant. Or if you don't want to use these, you can also go for a minor. Something like this. It's more musical. Or maybe go to the fourth. Something like this. So it depends on you what kind of sound you are going for. Let's use the chords modulator here. Reset. Yeah, this one. And then go for this and maybe 6. Like this. Then go for bar. Groove. Maybe we set this here offbeat. Oops. Let's go here. So it's not really a background drone or that, it's already like a rhythm element. So here the bass, this second one all the time is a bit annoying. So I put this over here, this one here, and then I do a modification of this bass, put this here, and then tone it a bit down here. I don't want to have this big ass pitch bend here. I want to have this here, and I want to have a different modulation. That's maybe a good idea to put this over here, so we can repeat this here. It's here, this one here. Then have at the end here kind of a different. And swoop-de-whoop, we have here a nice pattern. So I need to tune everything a bit here. Let's use another hard clip here. Another EQ. It's not the best snare, but you know, just for this tutorial, I think it's okay. Yeah, so we have drums, we have bass, we have a bit of background drone-ish stuff here. Maybe we can add some melody on top, or some arpeggiator we can bring in later on. So an idea would be just to use here also polymer, and this one just, you know, plays in the scale of E Phrygian, just a random pattern. Maybe something like this. Maybe offbeat here, a bit different polymeter stuff. Like this, or I don't know, it depends on what you want to do. Maybe when this arpeggiator plays here, you probably want to have here a filter on top of that to remove the overtones from the bass. Let's see. I think the bass line here, the basses could use some more overtones. And I still don't like the snare yet. It's too woody. So here, these heads stretched out and a bit of reverb on there. Right, I just used here a scale 200%, so I stretched the clip basically a bit. It's all you need to bring in a bit of depth in the background, and in the foreground you have basically all these dry hardcore drums, and this one gives you the backdrop here, the pads, and you know, the reverbs on these heads and so on. So on the master we can let's see, it's an FX2, FX3. The peak limiter in there. Now we can also just use a hard clip here. If everything is mixed correctly in front of here, you can, you know, drive everything pretty hard into the clipper here. But you can hear it's already distorting, but it's drum bass. It's too loud. It's already -5 here, just with using the clippers. So yeah, but you can drive it pretty hard. I think that's it for this video. I just want to show you here how I start making drum bass with stock devices. I know a lot of people love to watch these tutorials or these videos, and I probably save this and then I finish this at some point. But the boring part actually about this is that I sit down now here for 1 or 2 hours and tweak all the little things until it sounds good. Maybe layer in some snares on top here. I probably would exchange this here for some samples or maybe a different synth. But you know, the boring part is basically tweaking everything until it sounds right. But I think it's in a good state. It's a good idea here. I really like this groove and so on. It just needs some details and work, right? But so far I'm happy with this. I think in this state I put this on my Patreon, so you can download it if you want to. And when I finish this at some point, I probably also re-upload this then in a finished state. But it probably take a while. So that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. Leave a like if you liked the video. Leave some questions in the comments down below. Subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.